Live, local, late breaking. 13 News starts right now.
We want to ensure that we're building the right amenity at the right location for what constituents want.
Pima Parks and Rec is looking for your input on their master plan. Good evening and thanks for joining us for 13 News Live at 10. I'm Dan Maries.
And I'm Mary Coleman. This is a strategic roadmap guiding the future of Pima County's parks, facilities, and programs for the next 10 to 25 years. 13 News reporter Emily Miranda joins us live from Wildwood Park.
And Emily, why is the public input important for this plan?
Dan, that's a great question. I mean, playground equipment, sports fields, and even lighting make Pima County parks what they are today. But now the county wants to hear from you at home about ways to improve their parks and facilities to better serve the community. Parks, basketball courts, and splash pads are just some facilities available in Pima County for residents to use.
Everything we offer truly enriches the lives of our constituents, and I just want to foot stomp, we just want to ensure that we're building the right amenity at the right location.
Pima County's Parks and Recreations Director says every year they determine what amenities and programs will help improve the Parks and Rec system, but there's never been a comprehensive plan. This year, they are working to change that.
We've hired a consulting company to really provide us a strategic roadmap for the future of Pima County, for the urban parks, for the recreational amenities, and for programming for the next 10 to 25 years.
To begin creating the roadmap, they need the community's input.
Their feedback that they can provide is going to be important and provide an important role in truly like a resident-driven approach, which is going to shape the future of the master plan to ensure that what we think the constituents need really meets what they really need.
They want to know what amenities are needed and where to enhance the park-going experience.
Do the constituents want a splash pad there, or do they prefer to have a pickleball court or a basketball court? So this is their opportunity to truly provide their feedback in the Pima County Parks and Rec system.
The public's feedback will also help the department get funding and resources for future projects. Now, starting next month, the county will begin holding out community outreach events. And for anybody looking to weigh in on the survey, we'll have a link up at KOLD.com. Reporting in Tucson, Emily Miranda, 13 News.
Well, was it cold enough for you last night?
Yes, and it is currently. I know it's not as cold as it was currently, but I'm pretty cold. 13 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen joins us here, and I feel like a lot of Tucsonans, this is not exactly our element, Stan.
Well, it's been a while since we've been this cold. 333 days to be exact, since Tucson had a low of 33 degrees. You got to go all the way back to the middle of January, but we did stave off that first freeze of the season in Tucson. And we did in Ajo as well, so we have yet to dip down to 32 degrees there. And it does look as though we're going to put off that first freeze for at least another 7 nights, as our overnight lows are going to be warming up. As quickly as tonight, we'll only drop to 45, 42 Thursday night, 40 degrees Friday night, and then 43 come Saturday night. Those clouds that have been building through the day will help to trap in some of the heat that we picked up today. 45 for our low will put us 4 degrees above normal. But you're right, Mary, we're now at 57 degrees. Some of us might feel like that's a little chilly. Wait till you see how quickly those daytime highs will rebound too.
Earlier today, Natural Grocers shut down one of its locations on Tucson's east side.
The move comes amid controversy after some employees claim to be laid off amid fighting for unionization. 13 News reporter Sean Mahoney joining us live outside the Natural Grocers location with more. And Sean, what have you learned today?
Yeah, well, Mary, Dan, despite the lease for this location closing within the month, many former employees who I spoke to say that this closure came as a surprise to them, as they say this location was one of the most profitable and one of the most popular ones here in Tucson. But those employees say it also could be a move against unionization, which is why many of them came out today to protest to make this last day an eventful one.
What do we want?
Fair wages.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Fair wages.
When do we want it?
Now.
We were out here speaking with the community about the kind of egregious tactics that Natural Grocers is currently using against its employees just to shut down these conversations.
William Gamble was a longtime employee of Natural Grocers until this past June, when he says he was suddenly fired for what he claims to be for one specific reason.
I petitioned the store to be recognized as a union on June 16th and was fired the following day.
Gamble was one of 4 employees fired over the summer before a vote on whether or not to form a union for Natural Grocer employees at this location. The vote did not pass, something Gamble says would have been different had he been there.
There were 4 of us that were laid off. We were the 4 most vocal union supporters.
Natural Grocer's reason for firing Gamble was for violating their anti-violence policy by, quote, intimidating employees, something he disagrees with.
All the employees who were listed on this all came forward and said this was not true.
Which is why there is now an unfair labor practice lawsuit from the United Food and Commercial Workers against Natural Grocers. But Gamble says the closure of the store presents a roadblock.
It's a last-ditch effort on Natural Grocers' part, yes. This pushes back the NLRB lawsuit significantly.
In a statement by Natural Grocers co-president Kemper Isley on the closure of the Tucson location, he said in part, quote, "This decision was reached after careful consideration of the store's operational challenges impacting performance, saturation in the Tucson area, and capital improvements required for this location in the near future." But employees like Gamble still wanted their voices to be heard.
What do we want? Fair wages. When do we want it? Now.
And says the protest today was one step into pushing forward unionization efforts and bringing what he calls justice to these employees.
Natural Grocers was founded on a commitment to the community and to their employees. We want to see the company return to those principles.
Now, Co-President Isley went on to say in part, quote, "Our priority remains on working with our Good For You crew members during this transition and continuing to serve the Tucson community through our other local stores." Now, I did reach out to Natural Grocers for comment on the specific allegations brought by some of those former employees like Gamble and that lawsuit. We have not received a response yet, but we will be sure to update this story on our website at KOLD.com once we do receive a response. Reporting live from the east side, Sean Mahoney, 13 News.
Sean, thank you. Grocery shoppers will not be seeing their local Albertsons or Fry's changing signs anytime soon. The failed merger now has Albertsons and Kroger pointing fingers, and a lawsuit has since been filed by Albertsons. 13 News caught up with some Fry's shoppers today, and they were pleased the 2 supermarket chains would remain just that, separate instead of merging into one. The reason for the merger was to better compete with Walmart, Amazon, and Costco, but customers say they were not buying that.
I think that competition is dwindled in the past 20 years, and I think we need more.
I think they should just go ahead. I think the judge was right on that. I think he did a good job.
Shoppers also tell us they follow the deals, not loyal to one place or another, and for now, those options remain open.
Tonight, President-elect Donald Trump announced he has picked former Arizona news anchor and U.S. Senate candidate Kari Lake for a role in his administration. She's been tapped to serve as the director of the Voice of America, an international broadcasting state media network. The station broadcasts to areas outside the U.S. and is funded by the U.S. government. Lake had been seen as a contender to become the U.S. ambassador to Mexico, but Trump selected someone else. Lake says she is honored to be picked and is looking forward to getting started.
Humanitarian and civil rights groups are demanding transparency in Arizona's executions. They are calling for the investigation into the state's decision to push forward, despite the judge appointed to lead the independent review of the process being fired. The state has asked the Arizona Supreme Court to issue a death warrant for Aaron Gunschitz. He is on death row for the 2002 murder of his girlfriend's ex-husband. Now, the governor's office says Hobbs ensures the state's death penalty process meets constitutional standards, and the Department of Corrections has made the necessary changes to ensure the process is humane. However, the former federal judge David Duncan, who Governor Katie Hobbs hired to study the execution process, was fired last month.
Governor Hobbs said,
knowing that there were significant problems with executions in the past is what precipitated the need for this full investigation by Judge Duncan. I have no I had serious concerns about the governor telling us, hey, just trust us, right? The AG, just trust us. The Department of Corrections, just trust us. We've heard this before, and they've botched executions, right? The only way the public or anyone can be assured that they are not going to botch them again is if this review is complete.
The ACLU of Arizona says the preliminary report Duncan drafted mentioned lethal drugs were stored in unmarked bottles, leading corrections staff to search the internet for drug facts and uses before an execution. And also claims the drugs were shipped to a private home rather than a government institution. Judge Duncan says he plans to complete the review and submit his final report despite being dismissed.
Coming up, how students at universities across our state are helping with input on how ADOT handles South roadways.
Plus, still looking for some Christmas gift ideas? I'll introduce you to Tucson's newest business on 4th Avenue, owned and operated by two women from right here in the old Pueblo. Welcome back. The Arizona Department of Transportation is teaming up with Arizona's 3 public universities to find new ways to improve transportation statewide. Students at the U of A, ASU, and NAU will study wear and tear on our roads and work together to find ways to fix it. It's made possible through the newly formed Arizona Transportation Institute at the University of Arizona. ADOT says it's about improving safety, sustainability, and efficiency. And it's already reviewing some of the work students have done and is feeling optimistic about the partnership.
I was very, very impressed and hopeful, and not even hopeful. I knew it was going to go great, but I was very impressed with the quality of the ideas.
Some of those projects they're already working on include looking at the impact of oversized vehicles on our roads and bridges and examining new safety measures in high traffic areas.
Well, for those of you gearing up for Winter Haven's opening night this weekend, newly paved streets are now complete and ready for the annual Festival of Lights. The city's Department of Transportation says visitors will enjoy walking, riding, or pedaling along smooth roads to view lights throughout the neighborhood, thanks to the voter-approved Prop 411.
A Saudi Arabian company that has been using groundwater to grow crops in Arizona is now facing a lawsuit from the state attorney general. Chris Mays claims Fondomante has been pumping excessively in La Paz County, violating the state's public nuisance law. The suit claims it's harming everybody who relies on the groundwater. 13 News has been reporting on the controversy surrounding the company's water use at farms in Arizona. Last year, Governor Katie Hobbs terminated the company's water lease, but the company is appealing.
People come from all over the world to fish along the Colorado River, but the warming river water means far fewer fish, and that's impacting local businesses. Lake Powell is at less than 40% capacity, which means shallower water flowing into the river. The Game and Fish Department says that warm water draws other fish to the river, hurting the once booming trout population. Local fishermen say that's why many of their companies are going out of business.
Catch rate for the Arizona Game and Fish Department is 8 fish per angler hour. Right now we're at somewhere around 0.2 fish per angler hour.
He is hoping for higher lake water, cooler river temperatures, and for state and federal governments to step in to protect the water source.
A brand new business is ready to bring a new flair to 4th Avenue. Tonight was the soft opening for Forever Tipsy on 4th Avenue, owned and operated by two young women from right here in Tucson. The owners, JJ Johnson and Bianca Machado, are bringing their talents together under one roof. JJ has been making custom hats for almost a decade under the name Tipsy Picassos, and Bianca is bringing her skills as a permanent jewelry artist.
Bianca's only 22 years old, so the fact that she's so on the ball and entrepreneurial is amazing, and the collaboration has just happened so naturally. I don't even know how we started working together, but it's all very organic, and I think it's something really fun that women and men will love to come in, make a hat. We also have men's jewelry, and it's going to be a really fun addition to 4th Avenue.
Forever Tipsy is located at 402 North 4th Avenue, right across the street from Antagon Books. And so swing on by if you're heading down to the 4th Avenue Street Fair starting Friday and running through Sunday.
I was telling you when we were off camera that I've seen their hats around and they're beautiful. The paintings, the hand
all hand painted. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, so check them out.
Yeah, will do.
Well, it's going to be nice weather for the 4th Avenue Street Fair.
Sounds like it. 13 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen joins us for a look at what we can expect here.
Yeah, this year the weather's looking great. I think a lot of folks oftentimes associate the Winter Street Fair sometimes with some not so nice weather. We've had really windy days. We've had wet days. We've had some with even a little bit of a sleet snow mixture, but not this coming weekend. We do have an active pattern though here across the western U.S. And if we were going to have these storms dipping a little farther to the south, we might be talking about some of that wet weather impacting the street fair. But let me show you what's going on. We're going to teeter-totter between ridges of high pressure and then some troughs, but most of those systems, those troughs, are going to stay well to our north. So here's that batch of clouds that's over us now, and we kind of have a weak area of high pressure. It's not particularly amplified, but fairly flat. So our temps are going to warm up. We do see a tiny fetch of moisture moving in from the south tomorrow afternoon. Again, just kind of clipping by us, an increase in cloud cover, but we're not expecting to wring out any rain. And then the next trough staying to our north, just north of the Four Corners areas. We head through Friday, moisture starved once again, but we have some come and go clouds with that one. And then a stronger storm system bringing more widespread snow here across the Intermountain West by Sunday morning. But again, watch Arizona. We really don't see anything sagging far enough south to even talk about other than some cloud cover. And then as we head through our Monday, we have another storm system lining up, but again, just a mix of sun and clouds. So we're not going to be socked in with clouds, you know, entirely over the next 7 days, but we'll have some clear skies, a few clouds filtering in, a few clear sky days, and the end result temperature wise will be pretty moderate. 76 degrees for us tomorrow. We do drop off to 69 Friday, but then we'll rebound right back to 75 on Saturday, 74 for Sunday and Monday. So temperatures are going to stay well above normal in Tucson and most of southern Arizona. Normal over the next 7 days, 66 down to 65 degrees. Now Sierra Vista, your normal this time of year, or by the weekend in the low 60s, you'll be closer to the 70 degree mark both Saturday as well as Sunday. Douglas, you too will be in the upper 60s to near 70. Nogales right around the 70 degree mark. Oracle 66 for your Saturday, 61 on Sunday. So how does this play into the 4th Avenue Street Fair? Well, if you're hoping to go out there on the coolest of the 3 days, make it Friday, 69 degrees, 75 Saturday, 74 Sunday. So both those days are going to be quite similar. And just because it's winter doesn't mean you can't burn. So you definitely want to have that sunscreen on because you'll probably be out there for a couple of hours at a time. Tomorrow, 76 degrees. We'll start the day with those clouds. They'll clear out by afternoon. 77 in Marana, 75 Oro Valley, 68 in Benson, and 70 Sierra Vista. There's that 13 First Alert 7-day forecast. Come and go clouds, but our temperatures staying quite mild. Overnight lows showing that we're not going to dip down close to freezing again for at least 7 more nights.
Good.
Yay.
I'm looking forward to the 4th Avenue Street Fair.
Me too.
And Antigone books. I messed that up a little while
Dan
ago.
knew it.
I knew.
We knew you knew. We knew.
Hard one to say sometimes. All right, thanks,
Yes, it
Aaron.
is.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, it is the season to share the joy during the month of December. You can donate to our 13 Cares Toy Drive benefiting the Salvation Army of Southern Arizona. They're helping to put smiles on the faces of kids in need during the holidays. Scan the QR code on the screen to make an online donation, or you can also drop off a new unwrapped toy to any one of those businesses listed down below.
Coming up, the struggles continue for the Arizona Cardinals. What they need to focus on if they stand any chance at playoffs.
Numbers from your Arizona Lottery Powerball: 13, 44, 50, 52, 54. And the Powerball is 20. For the pick, 5, 8, 11, 13, 19, 24. For Fantasy 5, 13, 18, 28, 29, 41.
Well, it wasn't that long ago when Cardinals fans were flying high. The team was first place in the NFC West with 4 straight wins, but since their bye week, they have struggled, piling up 3 straight losses. As Nick King reports, the Cardinals' playoff hopes are fading fast.
Cardinals enter Week 15 with a less than 10% chance to make the postseason now, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. So while they're not mathematically dead, they're no longer in control of their playoff fate and almost certainly will have to win each of the last 4 games just to have a prayer.
It's tough. It's tough. Tough part is understanding the opportunity that we had, the implications that were part of the game. Obviously, we weren't thinking about that, but we understood what was at stake. But to let it go and not play our best is, that was the tough part.
Murray not playing his best. Sunday against the Seahawks, a second straight game with 2 interceptions after throwing just 3 the first 10 games.
Couple bad plays, honestly, and the rest of it wasn't really bad. But those couple plays were crucial plays that kind of turned the game, or at least I felt like. For us offensively, it's just a lot of highs, a lot of lows. I think we've shown that we can be the best. We've shown that we might not be there. So we got to find a way to continue to be consistent.
More inconsistencies means fans' patience with the franchise QB again starting to wear thin. But Murray gets that.
The quarterback, you get paid. You get paid for a reason. You take all the scrutiny, you take all the blame, and that's part of the job. It is what it is. I understand that completely. Hell, I'm mad at myself. There's no one out there that's more mad than me.
Have you or your teammates done anything to pick you up?
Oh, I don't need anybody thinking the world is ending. My confidence will never waver in myself at all. And that's just what it is. Honestly, I'd rather you not text me because I'm okay.
Certainly in a much better place than 2 years ago tomorrow when Murray tore his ACL, ironically, against this week's opponent, the Patriots.
I low-key thought about that this morning. I was driving here. Yeah, it's a little weird. It is a little weird, but try not to have that happen again.
You heard it. Do not text Kyler Murray. That was Nick King reporting. The Arizona Cardinals' playoff hopes are slipping, but again, they are still in the hunt. They face the 3-10 New England Patriots this Sunday at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. Kickoff at 2:25 p.m., and you can watch it right here on KOLD News 13. And get ready for the game with Arizona Cardinals Game Plan featuring head coach Jonathan Gannon. With 4 games to go, coach will take us through the film room and we will break down the Cards defense with coordinator Nick Rallis. You can watch again right here on KOLD News 13. That's tomorrow at 6:30.
Arizona Cardinals coverage is sponsored by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing and Blue Mountain Roofing.
Coming up, a final check of your 13th First Alert forecast. And before we head to break, 13 News is partnering with Goodwill Industries for our annual Deck the House Holiday Lights Contest. Head over to KOLD.com and click the contest button on the homepage. You can submit a picture of your decked out house and share your favorites. The top 3 will be featured live on 13 News next week.
Did you see this tonight? I know Dan did.
Yes.
You ran out and took a picture of that. Ralph Mangi took this photo, sent it in from the foothills of the Catalinas. That beautiful ring around the moon is called a halo. It's the ice crystals in those cirrus clouds reflecting and refracting the light. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. There's the 7-day forecast. Equally beautiful, right?
It is.
We are the envy of the country right now.
Sure.
We are.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.